I couldn't help you tie your damn shoes because I didn't have mine tied half the time because I was too lazy to bend over and do it.
I didn't even have shoelaces.
So it's just, it's very hard for me because I've had people recently like, what do I do? And it's nothing. Like, there's something, but the reality of it is the less you do, the better.
And that's the question that you get asked, right?
Constantly.
Is what can
I do or what could I have done?
And here's the answer for that. Nothing.
It's another episode of Talk Hard. My name is Martin Norman, and we're in Bulgaria.
Bulgaria? So I am Scandinavian, so I'm from Scandinavia. I am a Viking. This is true. Absolutely, 100%. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to Talk Hard Podcast, where we are live right now in Scandinavia.
Bulgaria.
Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. We got a great show today for you. We got the holidays coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about the holidays. We're going to talk about, a lot that comes in with being an addict in recovery, or maybe not even in recovery, and the holidays coming up. It is.
They do go together now that I think about it. You know what I mean? We were talking about the two different topics, and they do kind of blend because when we're talking about
mental health and
it's the mental health and the whole like what can I do? This typically comes up during the holidays when you're struggling with someone in your family. Mm-hmm. On the other side, so I'm playing the other side of the addict, the non-addict, the normie, as we would call them.
So we got topics of today. We got topics of the fact that being an addict or an alcoholic, whether you're in active addiction or in recovery, the holidays can be a very trying and quote unquote, I'm throwing quotes in the air here, triggering time. Yep. And then you got the family members, the loved ones who are at home right now, and they have to or during Thanksgiving or during Christmas or during one of these holidays. Yep. And you got your son, your uncle, your aunt, or whomever comes over and nods out in the mashed potatoes, Yeah.
But then you got the family member that's that doesn't want you there, and they're sitting there thinking to themselves, what can I do to help you?
Oh, man, all right.
There's so many angles to this right now. So first and foremost, let's just start with the basis of this. Let's go to Thanksgiving, right? Well, it's right around the corner. If you're watching this, it's tomorrow.
Can I say this though? Like I always like to say, guys, if you are struggling, you or yourself or a loved one are struggling with addiction or alcoholism of any sort, you can reach out to us. The number is right there. Chris will put it down there. You can reach out to us, or you can reach out to us on email, which is
fans@talkhardfans.com.
I never can remember that. Anyway, so that being said,
I made it easy on purpose.
That being said, I want to say that because I know, on my aspect of it, I get a lot of calls from family members, more so than I do the actual addict or alcoholic, right? I get a lot of calls from family members, and I'd like to dive into enabling and how we can effectively, help an addict versus, because there's a thin line between helping and enabling an addict. 100% thin, paper thin line, and a lot of parents and loved ones don't.
It's black and white.
Sorry, it absolutely.
I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but to me, it's black and white.
Because we're on the other side, We're on the other side.
Yeah, I'm on the side that I get it because I was on that side where I got lots of help. I mean, early in my addiction, when I say early, I mean like the first time somebody actually started to catch on to it.
When he started nodding. The first time he walked up to
47 bathroom breaks, and they're like, that dude's bladder's not that small.
First time he actually was at Thanksgiving, and he actually nodded out in the mashed potatoes. So Mom's like, hey, we may have a problem here.
I've had every option from I'll send you to the best recovery center around to what do I need to do to finally nobody doing nothing, really.
Well, that's the thing, loved ones, look, man, I know it's gut wrenching. It is. I deal with moms and wives and husbands and children who are bawling when they talk to me, and they're talking to me about like, I don't know what to do. Like I can't turn him out. I can't just cut him off. What if he, and this is the number one thing. What if he dies? Well, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, and this is not me being harsh. I promise you giving him $40
has a better chance of killing him.
I guarantee
than the other
it.
Way around.
You giving him $40 so that he can go buy a quote unquote cheeseburger because he's hungry. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that he's buying dope. Yep. He's going to buy dope, and with the way things are today, we got a lot of people out here claiming to be heroin addicts, and 98% of them aren't even doing heroin.
Nope.
You know, it's not heroin anymore. There's no heroin on the streets anymore. And it's fentanyl, guys. It's fentanyl. And today's the dope game has changed today. It's not like what it was when I was out there. The dope game has changed where every line, bump, pill, smoke, whatever, however you ingest any of your drugs, there's a very good chance, 60% chance or more, I can't remember the statistics, 60% chance that it has fentanyl in it.
So let's break that down slowly for those that may not have caught on to what we just said. You don't want to cut your son, daughter, loved one off because you're afraid that if you don't help them with financial purposes,
or any
the thing is, what happens in their mind is they're like, I'm giving them this $40 because he needs to go get a hotel room, or they're
cold,
justifying whatever they can in their head to make it sound like they're not helping them get drugs. But I'm going to tell you, as a person that spent a lot of time on drugs, I would rather sleep on a curb high than in a comfortable bed.
And 1,000% everything.
So you have a better chance of killing them by helping them than the other way around, where you just finally say, like my mom said to me, if you want to go kill yourself, I don't want to watch anymore.
I'm done watching. I'm done helping you do it. And that's the conversation that I have with loved ones of addicts and alcoholics is, okay, so I ask a few questions. I'm like, okay, say scenario is I'm talking about the lady's talking about her daughter. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So how old's your daughter? Well, she's 25. Okay. Well, where does she live? Well, she lives with me. Okay. Does she have a job? No. Does she have a car? Yeah, she has a car. Okay. Did you buy the car? Yes. Okay. Is it in your name?
She doesn't have a car anymore.
Okay, so how does she get gas money? Well, I give her gas money. I make sure it's for gas money. Okay, all right. Well, how do you do that? Well, this and this. All right. So is there food in the fridge at your house? Yes. Does she get to eat that? Yes. Okay. All right. So we bought her a car, you give her gas money, she got food in the fridge. Does she take a shower at your house? Yes. Does she have a place? Does she have a bed in her bedroom? Yes, she does. So she's got all of this going on. She has everything handed to her. I'm asking her, so do you give her money once in a while too? Yeah, I give her money when she needs gas or when she needs cigarettes, or I don't give her drug money. I just give her, every once in a while I give her $25, $30, $40, and
like every other hour.
Right.
She's driving a lot.
So I paint this picture. I said, you got a 25-year-old daughter who you say is out here doing drugs, heroin, and overdosing. Should have been to the hospital several times, all these things. Doesn't have a job, doesn't have anything going for her. What she does have is a warm bed to sleep in every night when she does come home. She has a car that you pay for.
That she can sleep in pretty comfortably.
She can sleep there, too. She has a food in your fridge, and she has a bed in your house that she can come and go as she please. I said, what? In God's green earth, why would she want to change? She's living the life that she thinks. She's sitting back every evening going, man, this is the life. My mom bought my dope. I got a place to sleep. I got food in the fridge. I could take a shower. I could come and go. Why would she want to change? And that's what I got to paint the picture of. This is what you got to look at. Is like you are helping your daughter kill herself. And that comes as a punch in the gut for it. And I get it, man. It's tough when you don't know how you've gotten to that point. But somewhere along the lines, that's where it's at. And then I start laying things out like this is what we have to do. Well, you have to be willing to take all of that away from them. You have to be willing to take all of that away from them and give them an ultimatum. One, you have a conversation with an interventionist, myself, I'm an interventionist, or you can do it yourself, or I can get on the phone, doesn't matter. You have a conversation and basically break it all down, boil it all down. The conversation is when your daughter walks in the house, I have a suitcase and a trash bag over there full of your clothes. You have two choices. You're going to treatment right now, and I'll take you, or you grab that trash bag and you're on your own. And I'm taking the cars. I'm shutting off the phone. You're not coming here for a shower. You're not coming here to sleep. I'm not giving you $20 for a pizza. You are done. That's the hard part. That's the hard reality. And then I get the fallback. Well, I can't do that. Well, okay. All right. Well,
no, you don't want to do that.
No, I can't. I can't do that to my daughter. I cannot. She will be cold outside, and she'll probably die out there.
Okay.
I get it. It's tough, but you got to step out of that situation
Am I just
and look
messed
at it.
up in the head anymore? Because I don't get it.
I'm trying to be understanding here.
Well, so I
really,
don't
a
get
lot
it,
of times
and
I want to. I think
play
the
other
mom's
side.
sicker.
I always play the other side. I'm like, so this is your car, your cell phone. She's on your insurance. So when she ODs in her car and smashes into a couple walking down the street with their baby and murders the mother and the daughter, guess who's gonna be in trouble? You guys.
Not only that,
You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose everything because you were trying to protect her. She's still going to prison after that, and she's going to end up getting sober that way.
Yeah.
Not only that, you've now lost everything you own.
Yeah.
Because you were trying to help.
And it's
When does the help go both ways? Because the way I was raised, it was like, and right now, like I'm helping my parents tremendously because it's their time. They're older. They're retired. If you need anything, Mom, Dad, call me.
right.
You took care of me my whole life. I couldn't do that when I was in addiction.
No.
I couldn't help you tie your damn shoes because I didn't have mine tied half the time because I was too lazy to bend over and do it.
I didn't even have shoelaces.
So it's just, it's very hard for me because I've had people recently like, what do I do? And it's nothing. Like there's something, but the reality of it is the less you do, the better.
And that's the question that you get asked, right?
Constantly.
Is what can
I do or what could I have done?
And here's the answer for that. Nothing.
That's it.
Or better yet, I'd like to say this. It's out of context. I got to get some questions answered. But you just said it. Whatever you are doing for said person, stop.
Everything.
Stop. I don't care. Stop. Because I tell you what, if everything is cushy and I'm comfortable and I'm getting high and I'm overdosing and I'm causing all this behavior problems and all this wreckage in my rear view and no one is stopping me and everybody's helping me do this, then I will do this forever until I die.
It was so funny because I had somebody recently.
I will never ask for help, and I will never want help, and I will never go get help unless I hit a rock bottom. And everybody wants to talk about, well, you don't have to hit a rock bottom. You don't. You don't have to hit a rock bottom, but 90% of us do. We have to hit a spot, and a rock bottom could be like, oh, I slept outside last night because my mom wouldn't let me in the house. That could be a rock bottom, and that's great. Some of us have a very hard pain threshold, Some of us do, myself.
My rock bottom wasn't like the crazy thing is like ODing in my room was not a rock bottom.
No, not for me either. But
damn near dying wasn't a rock bottom. But as soon as my dad fired me, I was like, what happened?
Something went crazy wrong.
Like I built the business and then I got fired. I was like, what happened? Or I didn't build it, but I helped build it.
Sure.
At some point in time, I was a very important piece of that puzzle that went from like lower income to tremendous amounts of money because of my work. And then that same place I was getting let go of because I was an embarrassment.
Because he was done.
The thing is this is what happens, and I want to break this down a little bit, and I'm the guy that gets all into the psychological analysis of everything because that's how I'm wired. The loudest person in the room always gets what they want. Because people want them to shut up. I had somebody recently interact with somebody, and I was kind of watching from the side, and the child kept getting louder and louder and louder until finally the parent subsided. And I said, did your kid cry a lot when it was a baby? Yeah. And I'm using the word it because I don't want these people to figure out what I'm talking about. Did your child cry a lot when it was younger?
It's also a good way to be gender neutral.
Yeah, there you go. I'm being gender neutral. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Did you go coddle every time to get it to shut up? I sound like more of a jerk than ever, but
yeah, you do. I love it though.
So yeah, that's why. Yeah. I can tell you how your child was as a baby because it's carrying the same characteristics all the way into adulthood. And it knows if I yell loud enough, you will do what I need you to do to shut me up. So I'm not going to stop.
How often do you see that in the store?
Too many times.
A kid throwing a temper tantrum.
Too many times.
Temper tantrum, man.
Now, when a mom was growing up, my dad would say, shut your mouth or I'm going to give you a reason.
Poppy! Poppy!
Yeah.
I would have a busted lip if I tried that. And that's good. But then you watch, the thing. Like,
you watch the mom. You right now, the kid your child will be fine. They're going to scream. They're going to yell, F you. You're ruining my life. That's the hard part for a parent when you're cutting somebody off. Yeah. That's what's gut wrenching is you get this.
How could you, Mom?
You get this loaded answer that is like, I'm going to die. How could you do this to me? You don't love me. All of the things that you don't want to hear as a parent, your addict child has been scripting for a very long time because they know it's coming.
They know it's coming. Absolutely.
So I'm just telling you, in one ear, out the other. They don't mean it. And if you do that, like my mom was there for me my whole entire life. Which it gets me choked up still today.
Yeah.
When she cut me off, I realized I'd messed up. And we are closer today than ever before because of that. That was the greatest thing she ever did to me. She was there my whole life. The minute she was like, I'm not watching this anymore.
I'm done.
I was like, whoa.
And she meant it.
And she damn sure meant it. She did not want to watch me die.
And that's the thing, too. I talk to a lot of people, I'm like, you're going to say these words to your loved one.
Yep.
You damn sure better make sure that they know that you're going to hold that line. Because if they can see 1 inch of movement, like they're gonna attack that inch.
Oh, and as an addict, my reaction was "F you, mom."
F you.
Immediately. Screw you. I went all up and
I
down.
Don't need you.
I'm ignoring you now too. Guess what? I mean, this went on for weeks.
Yeah.
If not, probably a couple months before I left and was getting sober, and then all of a sudden it hit me, and I had that conversation with her, and she was like, "It just was. I just couldn't. I didn't even realize what I was doing. I just couldn't do it anymore." Like.
Guarantee the hardest thing she ever did.
I had wrecked a van up in Northern California, and the phone call came in. And what went through her mind was, I know it wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
I know it was because you were high, and you could have destroyed our whole entire family because I was in a company vehicle.
Not to mention.
And I almost killed people.
Yeah.
I would have destroyed everything that I helped build, that they built, that we lived on my whole entire life to get high. Where's the line in the sand? Like, how much do they have to destroy as your kids? Don't tell me this unconditional love crap. If you unconditionally love them, then unconditionally cut them off.
That's it.
Doesn't mean you don't love them. My mom still loved me, period. She didn't want to watch what was going on.
I have said that to many people as well. It's like I can't. I love her so much, and she's going. Okay, if you love her, you're going to do what's best for her.
Yep.
Not what she wants. Love doesn't mean I'm going to give you what you want. Love means I'm going to do what I need to do in order to get you where you need to go, and it's hard. It is. I know it's hard because I talk to so many people, so many moms, so many wives, so many husbands, and I know that it's hard. But at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself and say, I am helping Susie die. I'm not stopping it. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I am helping it.
Yeah.
And that goes back. And so the other side of things is the Thanksgiving's coming up, right? And these holidays are coming up, and you mothers, you loved ones are going to encounter that one person in the family, that cousin, that niece, that son or daughter. And first and foremost, during the holidays, don't get your kids, if they're in active addiction, don't get them gift cards, please. I can get 50 cents on the dollar from a dope man all day.
It's Thanksgiving. Who the hell gets a gift card on Thanksgiving?
Well, I'm thinking Xmas too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Coming up, but
I was like, Jesus, I went to the wrong Thanksgiving parties.
I'm just putting all the holidays.
But no,
together.
here's real talk. If your loved one shows up at the house messed up, call an Uber immediately.
Or call me. I'll get him into treatment. It's that simple.
Well, that's the fun part about the Ubers. I get to tell where to go.
Call an Uber. Tell them to come to me.
It's on my phone.
Right.
I'm going to tell you you're going home, and you're going to realize you're 30 miles north in the wrong direction because you've now arrived where you need to be. And if you want to be anywhere else, get yourself there.
There's times and places. If you haven't cut your addicted loved one off by Thanksgiving, like, I don't know if that's the day to do it. Like, they're probably still in your life every day regardless because they need to get money off of you in a shower and gas for their car. But I think it's time for you to start thinking like, okay, I am not helping, I'm hindering, I am hurting, I'm helping my son or daughter die. It's simple as that. Being on the other side, being on recovery side of and having to deal with this is a triggering moment for a lot of people. Is some of them might be their first Thanksgiving back home where they have to deal with their maybe the parents and we all got that drunk uncle, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have that drunk uncle over there, and you've been sober for X amount of months, and you got to go home for Thanksgiving for the first time, and I say that a lot. Like, man, you don't have to. And and if you feel like you do, because most people feel like they do, like I want to go home and you haven't been to Thanksgiving sober in 10 years, you know what I mean?
I want to do a lot of things too, but what I need to do right now is a totally different story.
And if you feel like you got to go and you feel uncomfortable and you feel like something you might be triggered or maybe feel like you want to drink around Uncle Harry, who's going to be passed out by the end of the meal anyway. Take somebody with you. Take a sober person with you.
Check your intentions at the door first. If you're worried about it, don't go.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just the bottom line. Check your intentions. If you're really thinking of an excuse that's a possibility before you even get there, that's a bad idea.
Well, I like to play out all scenarios.
I do too.
You know what I mean?
But I'm just being honest with these people. Like, if you actually have to play out in your head, well, if Uncle Harry's there and he's going to get drunk, then I might, because, boom, that's where you stop what you're doing and make new plans. Because you're already in that addict mentality where I'm going to justify my failure.
Because Harry was
before
drunk.
It is ever, you don't even know if Harry's going to be there. He might die on the way, or he may not even show up.
Ouch.
But you're literally playing that out in your head as an option before you even go. That's where your problem starts. We got to stop analyzing and predicting and doing all these things that are just negative, and it's getting old, and we can dive into that in a whole nother episode. But everybody keeps coming around me like the holidays are so stressful, and I'm like, for you they are.
That's
it's a
society.
Cakewalk for me.
That's society right now. Jesus, man, it's so keeping up with the Joneses and doing this and doing that. Like, man, we have lost what the holidays are really about.
I have had the most magical couple of holidays last year that we're repeating this year, because it wasn't about the turkey being perfect and all this crap. Like, wasn't about any of that, because the honey bake store wasn't open. You couldn't get these crazy hams and turkeys. I was like, I don't really care if you make me a bologna sandwich. I'm coming over to hang out.
Yeah.
Period. Bologna sandwich means paper plates.
Didn't what's his name say you couldn't hang out with your family last Thanksgiving?
Who?
The man in charge. Didn't he say you couldn't hang out with your family? No one hang out with their family unless you get the.
I don't care what anybody said. I'm doing what I want to do because I still live in my own world. I don't even care if it's American. But yeah, I get what he's saying. I was lost because I'm like, no one tells me
nothing.
But here's the thing. If things suck because you anticipate them to suck. Our last Thanksgiving and Christmas was, there was no stress. There was no nothing. We made gifts. There was no pressure. There was no money to raise. There was nothing. Like, it was just like, my greatest gift is me. And you can call me arrogant. You can call me a jerk for that. I don't care. Your greatest gift is you bringing the best version of yourself to the front door of my house, or vice versa.
Yeah, I like that.
That is a gift.
I like that a lot.
Because I'll tell you right now, if I'm all excited about this thing that I bought you, you're going to open it, and about 45 seconds later, that's all over. It's hype. That feeling is gone. It is not happening like that. You love the idea of something more than the actual thing. I guarantee it. It's how we're wired as humans. We can definitely dig into that one later, because I can tell people how they can save money by stop being stupid and ordering stuff just for fun. I've got a couple of $1,000 extra in my bank account because of this year. Me going, okay, I want to buy this. And then I say, do I need it or do I want it? If I need it, can I borrow it or can I build it? I started breaking this down, and then when I get to the bottom, I'm like, not that big of a deal. I throw it in another bank account.
Well, what a great year! What a great year to be saving money with the inflation.
If you haven't listened to that one, go back into. Gosh, Chris put it in the title
what
somewhere.
A year
not the title,
to have liquidations when everything collapses to purchase.
But boom, right there. I'm going to tell you right now, if the economy does what everybody's trying to anticipate, the last thing you're going to give a flying rat's about is a new pair of shoes and a turkey. So why don't you get used to just loving your family?
That's it right
there. But before all of that, love yourself. That's the biggest problem that addicts have. And that's when I've had difficult conversations that consisted of, you think that I don't love you, but you don't love yourself.
Right.
So I don't have anybody to love.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you I love you, but it doesn't matter because you're not there and you don't love yourself. So none of this matters.
So many conversations. We have a lot of conversations about that because a lot of people like to get into recovery and say the first 30 days in recovery. And then, you know, all of a sudden they got sober all of a sudden and they want to start thinking about their children, you know, and you know, that's the first thing. Like, I got to get my kids back. I got to get this. I got to get that. I'm like, no, you don't.
Your kids don't want you back.
Even if they do, they don't need you.
And I don't
right
mean
now.
that in a bad way. I just mean like right now. Your kids want the best version, and 30 days into anything is not the best of anything. I don't care who you are.
And you just said it a minute ago. And I'll say this boldly, you can never love anyone else, including your children, until you learn to love yourself, period. And you're not loving yourself in the first 30, 60, 90, 100, 20, whatever days in recovery. It takes some time. It takes some work. It takes a lot of accountability, and it takes a lot of work on yourself to truly get through all the past traumas and all the horrible things that you've done and it's been done to you. You got to get through that stuff with professionals and other people and programs.
Meditation.
A million different routes, right?
I'm sticking to that one.
I'm just serious. Like, it takes a lot of work, and until you get to a point,
It takes a lot of effort.
It does. I mean, there is, you know, you never stay sober by just abstaining. It takes work. It takes, you know, and reason you're going to relapse again or you're going to use or drink again is because you haven't learned to love yourself.
Well,
if you loved yourself deeply, you would not do all these things to yourself and to the people that you quote unquote love. You wouldn't.
And go back to I think it's the episode that's before this one, where we talk about have found the secret to the cure to addiction.
Yeah.
And again, I just touching base on it, just on one thing for them to trigger them to go back and listen to this. You said it best right there. We're looking for, and abstaining does nothing, right? Because if you're like, well, I'm going to get rid of this, and as long as it's just out of my life, then I'll be fine.
Right.
That's almost literally impossible. The odds are stacked so heavily against you, it's not even funny. Yet, if you can get yourself to a place in your head where you no longer have a want, none of that matters. You could walk into a liquor store and stand there just trying to get change for a $5 bill, and you wouldn't be shaking and going, holy crap, because you're not thinking about that anymore.
Wouldn't even consider it.
You have fulfilled yourself with what you need, and that is yourself. Come be with yourself, with your higher power. And for those of you that don't believe in God and other things, that's fine, whatever.
I didn't either.
That's something you got to deal with later on in life. Personally, I believe in God.
Yep.
I believe I'm a vessel for God. I believe that everything I've done in my life has been for God, all the way back to like why I believe I'm still here. Like, I wouldn't change any of it because I'm now a tool to help others because of what I went through. So I wouldn't change it. But I know that if I would have stayed in that, I couldn't help anybody.
No.
And the greatest gift that you can ever give anybody is service. If you serve someone, if you want to feel high after being sober, go give a lead.
Go to a food bank.
Go do anything outside of your norm.
Go to a hospital and volunteer some time.
Just give service to others with
Go mow your
literally
neighbor's
wanting
yard.
Nothing in return.
Yep.
I've done things for
nothing better.
people that I don't even know if they wanted to thank me.
Right.
Like, I bought food for like 6 people behind me, like the next 6 cars that were stuck behind me because I had a big order.
Yeah.
And was like, I don't even care if any of these people say thank you.
Right.
I'm sure there's one that's going to be like, why did that happen? They're going to get curious, and then it's fun.
You never want to do something and expect something out of
That's
it.
selfish.
And to expect something out of it is like to even to the minute level, macro level of expecting a thank you. Mm-hmm. It says in the book, you know, don't let your right hand know what your left hand does, and what that means is don't expect nothing, and don't brag about it, don't tell people about it, don't, you know what I mean? You do things because that's who you are, not because you want something. And wanting and expecting a thank you is wanting something.
Absolutely. And it's difficult. I understand that, because there are times when I'll open the door and someone will walk right through, and I'm like, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying in my head.
That one gets me too.
Every time. But I try to play the empathetic person of like, I don't know what that person's going through. That person may have so much stress in their head that they don't even acknowledge that I've opened a door.
They didn't even see a door.
They're not trying to be rude, but I'm anticipating that's what they're doing, right? I'm judging them. I'm acting like I know them when I know nothing about what's really going on.
True story.
That's the truth. Yep. But to break this down as we close this out, if you're struggling, reach out. If you know someone's struggling, there's nothing you can do besides nothing.
Besides
the best thing you can do is nothing, to be honest.
Stop doing what you're doing.
As difficult as that may be, it'll be the greatest gift you ever gave that person.
Absolutely. We love you guys. If you like this, send this over to a friend. Hit that subscribe button. Let us know how.
If you're struggling,
let us know what you thought.
reach out to Marty. If you guys are struggling with other things in life, whether it be relational or other things, I do a lot of coaching for people. You can reach out to us on a lot of different levels. We are here to inspire, to help, to reach out. We are going to change the world.
Absolutely.
Join our platform. Share with your friends. Become a part of our community. And I don't mean ours like we own it. I mean, we're all in this together. We just want you to be part of our family. And that's why we do this.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Have a great holiday.